Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This week on the Pro Wrestling Report, we have news on a release from WWE. Also, Wrestlemania news. Big news on some changes in TNA. Raw is, and SmackDown, WWE television shows are doing great. And all of that, plus our Fan of the Week, Top 5s, and more coming up next on the Pro Wrestling Report. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the world's most watched professional wrestling news program. Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Report. It is Friday, March the 2nd, 2007. February and March are two very difficult months, Meathead, because the days and dates are the same each year, unless it's a leap year.
It confuses.
Probably didn't know that.
It confuses.
It does. Dameon Nelson sitting here alongside the man called Meathead, and this
the man they call.
The man they call me, and I get confused. I'm sorry. As we just made clear a moment ago. And this is, as I said, the Pro Wrestling Report. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen.
Just let's
roll right in to our top story. Our top story this week is WWE announces the release of Andrew Martin, the wrestler formerly known as Test, I guess, didn't pass the test of his latest run in WWE. Meathead, we said a couple of weeks ago that Test was suspended due to a violation of the wellness policy. Now it becomes more apparent that he, after his return almost 12 months ago and a big push in ECW, was released from WWE. However, he says he asked for his release and it was granted. Clearly two different stories coming from the WWE camp and Andrew's MySpace page.
Because MySpace is really where you get all the information.
It's a credible source from what I understand. That's what I've been told.
Okay. Hey, by the way, make sure you check all your emails and turn your ringer off while we're doing the show here. Andrew Martin, otherwise known as Test, and that back knee that he's been carrying around for the last year. Obviously, he's going to show up in TNA.
Obviously, you
Obviously.
say? Really?
Obviously. Not right away. Give him a month or two.
What is it? Everybody who gets out of a WWE contract has to go to TNA?
No, because he doesn't have to go. But, excuse me.
There is no excuse for you.
Sorry, a little carbonation issue there.
People at home don't care.
He has got a big enough name, a marketable enough name. He's got the size.
Andrew Martin?
No.
Because he ain't going to be testing TNA. I'm just saying.
Andrew Martin, I think, is a big enough name.
All right.
They can go with something else.
Okay.
Christian had to be Christian Cage.
That is true. It can be Scantron Test. His name, maybe. Multiple choice test. Essay test.
Yeah. Could be.
He says that he asked for his release because it was not fun anymore in WWE, and the politics had reared their ugly heads again, and he just did not, as I said, have any more fun, thus asking for his release.
I tell you what, the last time we personally saw Test, he was getting basically bitched around by Val and Albert. Basically, he was carrying their luggage. He was, left outside.
Yes.
So, when was it fun for him? How was it fun for him?
Oh, he had a pretty big run back when he was going to be Stephanie's husband, and then Triple H took her to the little chapel in Vegas, and they got married, and basically a pretty prominent storyline he was involved in. After that,
they just took Test and put him in that. He was just a piece. It didn't matter that it was Test. It wasn't for Test. It was for Triple H.
It's true.
You understand that?
That's true. Are you going to miss him in ECW?
Who?
Let's move on into the news and views, ladies and gentlemen. And the WWE is taunting its huge ratings as of late. Some pretty big successes on the Raw and SmackDown side. Both shows getting their highest number in a very long time. SmackDown last week gets a 3.3 rating, which is over 5 million viewers, nearly 6.
Right, that's a network number.
Exactly. And that is their best since moving to Friday nights, which was quite a while ago. On the other hand of the coin, it's WWE Raw getting a 4.3 rating last week, which was its best rating since June of 2006. Now, Meathead, with these successes on these two programs, we've seen SmackDown...
With the number successes
on these two programs, we've seen SmackDown steadily climbing with an equal or better audience some weeks than Raw gets. And where is it coming from? What's the buzz? Why are more people watching the shows? Is it the absence of Monday Night Football? Is it the absence of anything else to watch on Friday nights, which means most people aren't sitting home watching TV on Friday nights? They are staying home to watch a show they want to see. What is it?
How much time you got?
We got about 27 minutes, I believe.
Okay. The thing with SmackDown on what's it
It's
called
on the
now?
CW network.
The CW,
Still don't know what
that's-
that means.
whatever that stands for.
I think it's the CW Anderson network.
Right, but he's gone too.
He didn't show up in TNA.
I didn't say he was a big enough name. The thing with SmackDown is apparently people are interested. Apparently.
Apparently.
I'm not one of them. Maybe there's a new wrestling base that is growing. Maybe the new 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds that are into this whole King Booker thing, that are into this whole Batista thing, that are into this whole whatever else they have. But you know who the real star of SmackDown and Friday nights is?
All hail King Booker!
That's not it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because
It's the wrestling god.
he would be the old star. He would be the annoying star. I'm talking about the new star. I'm talking about Mr. Kennedy! Kennedy.
I believe last week on this very program you were wondering if he was a SmackDown star or not.
No, I think he might be ECW now.
Rey Mysterio was the big pop, if you will, last week on SmackDown. They were in San Diego in the 619.
Holler if you hear me.
And was that the spike?
No. No. You think so?
A very high concentration of Hispanic and blacks watched SmackDown.
Ooh, because it used to be the UPN, and that's where the
what, Meathead? You think just because it's past February 28th, you can say whatever you want? The what, Meathead? Carry on. What were you going to say?
It's always been known that UPN was universally known for
the United Paramount Network.
No. How many shows on UPN were not geared towards the hip-hop?
I wasn't counting.
How many shows on the UPN were not geared towards the hip-hop?
Dawson's. That was on the WB.
Shh. How many shows were not geared towards the hip-hop or...
What is this hip-hop of which you speak?
UPN was always widely known.
I didn't even see you bring a shovel in this week.
What?
But you just keep digging your hole deeper.
What?
ECW talents are now referred to as superstars. They were extremists. WWE trying to blur that line a little more now.
What makes it different? What makes ECW different, honestly? How much time do we have?
Time and night and length of program, the commentary team, the superstars on the show, the champion.
The champion from Raw or the champion from SmackDown?
We'll talk more about that later. But ECW is, you cannot sit there and disagree.
ECW is the same as Raw,
a distinctly
and the same
different brand
as
from Raw and
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
It is not. It is the same crap.
Why are you so bitter?
I'm not bitter. I'm factual.
Did you have a bad February?
No. February was good to me. Because, I, like Peter Griffin, also have ancestors as well.
TNA lockdown ticket sales in St. Louis, Missouri are said to be going very good. That event will be held on April 15th at the Family Arena in St. Louis. Tickets are available by...
East St. Louis?
No. Metro Mix ticket outlets and at the Family Arena box office for that event. The venue is larger, however, they do expect to surpass tickets sold for Bound for Glory, which was in Detroit last October, where they sold somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000 tickets. Family Arena, depending on configurations, will hold up to about 9,000 people for this particular event. They will also be doing a TNA interaction event, where it will be much like a fan festival, if you will, and make a whole weekend out of their trip to St. Louis, Missouri. Also, they, as we told you last week, announced a house show at the Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky. Well, also now, looks like their next target is Mississippi. It's where maybe they'll go to Kiln, Mississippi. Kiln.
It's got an N in it, doesn't mean it's pronounced. By the way, Dameon Nelson is a Favre hater.
I don't hate him. I appreciate his talents and his skills. I just don't like the way that the state of Wisconsin that we emanate from treat him like a god, much like Illinois did Jordan.
And Ditka, and Budkiss,
did,
and Sosa,
Elway.
and Ryan Sandberg. Oh, I'm not done about Illinois. All right, now I'm done. Barack Obama, all of those idiots.
World Wrestling Entertainment is changing their branded pay-per-view stance. Said we'd talk about that later. Here it is. WWE has already announced that in their upcoming brand-specific pay-per-views, they will be using talent from all three brands. This is said to be a reaction to the dwindling pay-per-view buy rates for the branded pay-per-view shows, and in a reaction to that, to help SmackDown and ECW, as Raw is seen as the top brand for WWE, to help SmackDown and ECW, Raw talents will be featured on SmackDown pay-per-views, vice versa, and a smattering
because
of ECW
they're
on those
different
pay-per-views as well. But however, you would sit there and say, and many of our viewers would sit there and say that the brands need to be brought back together. Is this the first step in doing that?
If that's the road, yes.
Is it?
That is the first step. Or is it step 10 because they've already been doing it?
But again, what happens to the...
What did we talk about last week here on this very program?
I don't remember. I have a short-term memory problem.
You went to journalism school, right?
I did. I'm a broadcast journalist.
What was the phrase that
no
I
longer
used?
a special effect if you use it too much.
Okay. So why do they still think, oh my God, he's from SmackDown. Good God, what is he doing on this very program?
It's still,
oh my, it's Kane, it's Kane, it's Kane.
Let's say you go to a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert.
Which I wouldn't.
And let's say, unannounced, yet you know they work together, and I'm not saying they do or don't, but Kid Rock shows up, unannounced. Even if you think there's that possibility, is that not a value-added bonus?
No. If I know they work
Where
together...
did you come from? White man, where did you come from?
Bayview, Wisconsin. That's where I'm from.
You make that public, huh? Wouldn't do that.
Oh, I would. I represent.
Is this a right move? Are they going to garner more pay-per-view buys? A recent article came out showing WWE brought in about $200 million in revenue from pay-per-views last year, and the UFC brought in an equal amount of pay-per-view revenues. Followed in third place was HBO with about $150 million in pay-per-view revenues. Is this the right direction to go in? Does it make it more special? Do we, or have we seen it already is another question. When you look back to Armageddon and you look back to December to Dismember, where we've had Eminem and the Hardys on almost all of the branded pay-per-views for no matter what the brand is it really different from what they've already been doing? Look at No Way Out, the main event there.
Hey, Meathead, you make a great point. Thanks.
On pay-per-views.
Meathead, you make a great point.
They've got to do it. They've got to do it.
Matter of fact, where's the balloons? I've been waiting for this. I am right.
They have got to do it. The question that's on
Good job, Meathead.
The shows will still primarily focus on the brand that is on the title. So
no, it doesn't, because at least 4 times a show, somebody from another brand is on that show.
And the general fan out there probably likes that.
But it's not special effect when you continually do it.
But they are different brands. It's like Chrysler. You've got your Dodges, you've got your Chryslers, you've got your Plymouths. Remember the Neon? You had one of those, right? They're all the same car, but with different titles on them. This is what companies do, Meathead. No. Now they're just using their vault of talent to get more emphasis and to get more business out of each of those pay-per-view events.
Don't sell me
a new car!
Tell you what, you can put all the perfume you want on a pig. It's still a pig.
Pig?
Yeah. Think about that one.
Is this beginning of brand consolidation, yes or no?
Yes.
I say no. Triple H is scheduled to return to the ring in August, just in time for SummerSlam, they say. Rey Mysterio, same thing, even though you saw, Maga! Beat him up. Where's Armando Alejandro Estrada?
Well, he's there. He was on ECW.
All right.
Because he's the ECW talent. I mean, Raw talent. I'm sorry. I'm confused.
It's the road to WrestleMania!
Thank you, Meathead.
You must promote the matches on the pay-per-view show where you can do it. WrestleMania is the breadwinner each year. Nearly 1 million people ordered on pay-per-view compared to the 300 or 400 or 500,000 you might order the next biggest event. They've got to do it.
Hey, thanks for proving me right, Meathead.
Resistance is futile.
Thanks for proving me right, Meathead. I'm calling you Meathead the rest of the night. Meathead.
Even though Rey Mysterio was attacked by Umaga last week on SmackDown, the Rey Mysterio will still be out at least through the summer. Some are reporting that his injury was a little more substantial and his recovery is going a little slower than anticipated, so he may be out longer. I think. Well, I'm not saying a word.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm not a Ray fan.
I'm not a Ray fan either, but I'm saying he didn't look in shape, and obviously he's in rehab,
Well,
so he looked a little thick.
Remember Chuck Palumbo?
Yeah.
The rumor has it he'll be returning to SmackDown TV coming up in the next couple of weeks.
So he can feud with somebody on Raw?
If the pay-per-view needs that, yes.
Because it's different.
What happened to Sean O'Hare? Who was better in that team, Sean O'Hare or Chuck Palumbo?
You have to say Palumbo because Palumbo made it longer.
Well, no.
You have
Those
to
two
because
were a team.
remember,
WCW Tag Champions, if I do recall correctly.
They were part of the Natural Born Thrillers.
I was always a fan of Sean O'Hare. Even when he was aligned with Roddy Piper and all that stuff.
He had a great look about him, but he just didn't have any charisma. Palumbo had a little more charisma and actually made it into the FBI. Went from Palumbo, being just Palumbo, part of WCW, to being Billy and Chuck, the ambiguously gay.
You look
Where'd Rico?
So
Where's Rico Cosentino, by the way?
Don't know.
Where's
Maybe
Rico
we'll ask
Cosentino?
Frank on this week's episode of PWR Interactive. Look for more WWE and USA Network cross-branding, which means those of you who have been watching the USA Network, which means...
What's on USA besides wrestling?
There's Law & Order SVU, there's Monk, and there's Psych. That's about it. Oh, and that Nashville show with the Black Cowboy.
That's over, though. They just said there's series finale.
You watch that?
No, I know it's over because I saw the commercial.
I think you do.
Cowboy Troy?
Sure, that's
No, I don't watch that crap.
Guest stars, WWE superstars will be guest stars on upcoming USA shows. At least that's the talk right now. Such as Monk and Psych. Have you ever seen an episode of Monk or Psych?
No, but I know of them.
Psych looks to be an interesting show. I've never had the interest.
Matter of fact, I think they stole our gimmick. Again.
Psych? Who's Psychic? Karloff?
No. Psych. Black guy, white guy.
Well, it's a proven,
It's a winning formula.
Yeah.
Right, PTI started after we started our show.
Saturday night's main event, we talked about it last week, being a go for March 10th, being taped this upcoming Monday, March 5th in Phoenix, Arizona. Exactly. No go. Don't know who exactly canceled it. Rumor is NBC did. Rumor is WWE did. Meathead, is this a mistake? Taking away from the momentum going into WrestleMania, I just the other day actually watched Saturday night's main event from March of last year, and what a great show it was. Now,
It was phenomenal.
Didn't get a chance to see the summer edition of Saturday night's main event.
Not that good.
But you're on network TV. Granted, people talk about the ratings were lower and it wasn't worth all the efforts and blah, 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 blah. But back until, as long as you can remember, in the early days of WrestleMania, Saturday night's main event would happen 2 to 3 weeks before WrestleMania, and that would be the big show. Meathead, is this a mistake by WWE?
Not only should they be live, they should be live the Saturday before.
Couldn't, and with it being...
Obviously, your big names... I'm sorry for interrupting you. Obviously, your big names, though...
Write that down, folks.
Obviously, your big names, though, can't get too physical with each other the night before the big show. Everybody's getting ready. Everybody's getting...
It's always a risk.
It's always a risk. But you got to have something there. You got to... I agree with the cross-branding, into the TV shows on USA, because you got to do that. But this Saturday night's main event is also such an opportunity that just is getting pissed on right now.
You look at the great angles that were set up for WrestleMania, such as WrestleMania 4, when Hogan got beat by DiBiase, and DiBiase turned the belt over to Andre the Giant, and then we had the WrestleMania...
How much for the plastic surgery, brother?
We had the WrestleMania tournament at WrestleMania 4 for the title.
At
the main
Plaza.
event here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at the Bradley Center, where the Mega Powers exploded, leading into WrestleMania 5. Elizabeth gets knocked over. Hogan gets attacked in the back by Savage. All of that happened on Saturday night's main event. There was then the special shows when Saturday night's main event went away, called The Road to WrestleMania, or The March to WrestleMania. That was when, before WrestleMania 9, I believe it was, Shawn Michaels and I believe it was Tatanka. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Got into it. I mean, all these things happen on these big build-up shows. Now, the question is...
many moons.
The question is very good. Shawn Michaels, Tatanka say, many moons come for you. Bobby Heenan. The question is, do they have enough television inventory right now with Raw, SmackDown, and ECW to not need Saturday night's main event?
It's not a point of need. It's a point of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Would you pass up a $1,000 prostitute just because you have $5, $10 hoes? I'd give me the $1,000 one if I had an opportunity to get it.
You have a unique way of putting things.
Thank you.
We really don't know the real story. WWE hasn't announced anything. NBC has news reports indicate and schedules indicate that there will be no Saturday Night main event on March 10th.
That is just a huge mistake.
We also don't know at this point where and if the Hall of Fame induction ceremony will make it to television this year.
Again, ratings.
Ratings, but, the interesting thing about that is right now, top show on the USA Network is WWE Raw. Top show on the CW is SmackDown. Top show on Sci-Fi is ECW.
Now, I'm not saying that they're not doing well on that, but what I'm saying is, I got enough money. I don't need any more. Get more.
Let's go now, ladies and gentlemen, to our Fan of the Week. There should be some type of hoopla and confetti and balloons or something.
We already used the confetti and balloons on the I was right part.
This week's Fan of the Week is Tony Nikolai. Tony Nikolai, great name. Hey guys, love the show. Just wanted to get your thoughts on WrestleMania matches so far. WrestleMania matches announced so far: Cena and HBK for the WWE Championship, Batista and Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship, Umaga versus Bobby Lashley for
the hair.
Yet both men carry titles: the Intercontinental strap on Umaga and the World title on ECW champion Black Lesnar.
Blown opportunity right there, because the belts now will not be defended at WrestleMania.
Well, that's true. And then we've got the Money in the Bank ladder match featuring 5 participants announced: CM Punk, King Booker, Mr. Kennedy, Jeff Hardy, and
Edge.
Forget who else? Edge, yes. Jeff Hardy's first Money in the Bank ladder match. However,
can we talk about that match real quick?
We can talk about that match real quick, yes. From Raw this past Monday night, Jeff Hardy versus Shelton Benjamin, one of the greatest potential matches in the world.
I have to give, again, mark the tape, I have to give Jeff Hardy all the credit in the world on Shelton Benjamin's blown spot. You can see where his toe landed on a rope.
Fell.
Listen, you can see where Shelton's toe landed on a rope. You saw him fall. Jeff Hardy, with the ring presence, instantly covered it up and went for the pin.
Well, there was some controversy in that particular scenario because the referee made a clear 3 count.
Correct.
There was a belief at the time that Shelton Benjamin was hurt and not able to continue, thus the quick finish, but able to continue in the match. So there was a little bit.
But it was Hardy that initiated that.
It was. Well, he saw what happened and reacted. So he is a professional wrestler.
That's all you get.
So those are the matches announced for WrestleMania so far. Money in the Bank is what it is. It's going to be a great concept.
But why
great
8?
Match. Why 8 people?
Too many.
Exactly. But
too many.
Maybe it turns it up a notch. We'll see what happens with that. It gives more people the opportunity to be a part of WrestleMania and get that WrestleMania payday. But the 3 main matches.
Because you got 3 groups of people.
The 3 main matches: Umaga versus Black Lesnar, intriguing because of McMahon and Trump.
And Austin.
Well, you didn't give a spoiler alert, you jackass. Whoop, whoop, whoop. The rumored participant in the special guest referee spot in the WrestleMania matchup, hair versus hair, Trump versus McMahon, is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What's he going to get his head shaved?
That would be funny. Intriguing match. It's about, think back to WrestleMania 20, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg. Big match, but everybody knew Goldberg was leaving, everybody knew Brock Lesnar was leaving, so they got booed out of the building.
They got booed out of the building because of lack of skill.
Several factors. But that match has a bit more chance of being a mess, in my opinion, than the Money in the Bank match with 8 participants. The next matchup, main event for SmackDown, is Batista getting in the ring with The Undertaker. Undertaker 14-0 at WrestleMania.
How sad is it that actually Undertaker has to carry Batista in this match?
Well, if anybody needs to, it should be him. Yeah.
Thanks, Meathead. Good job.
The other matchup is Cena versus HBK for the WWE Championship.
Again,
I think the matches so
go
far.
Go in under expecting from Cena and Michaels, and then be surprised when they deliver.
John Cena each and every week is more and more impressive. Each and every week.
Don't go that far.
When you look at, I watched some matches from 2006 just the other day, just for perspective's sake, and remember back before Triple H laid down at WrestleMania, Cena was getting booed out of every building.
Yep.
Now, the boos are still there in some markets, but Cena is a bona fide celebrity and big star in WWE, and is a man who can simply carry the company on his shoulders and works hard to do it.
I agree with you, man.
I think that there's a bit more respect due his way than he has been getting. The next question in this email from the fan of the week of Tony Nikolai is also, what is your favorite moment and match at WrestleMania?
I have to make my favorite moment being at WrestleMania.
Ooh, that's good. That's fun.
Because
answered both at that
yeah.
same time.
It has to be because I was there. I mean, I had never done. You've done.
I've been to 5 WrestleManias. 4 WrestleManias, actually.
Okay. So it doesn't matter what match it was. From Michaels and McMahon to the Boogeyman and Booker T to Mickey James and Trish to Cena and Trips to,
Favorite moment for me, WrestleMania-wise, and not my favorite match. Well, see, this becomes tricky because I always go back to, and I hate when you go in these historical things and you only go back a couple years to find the best, but Hogan Rock, WrestleMania 18, Toronto Skydome, the return of Hogan to WrestleMania after a 9-year absence, the psychology, the energy, and the swerve, I guess, by the fans in that match was just dynamic. It was,
and again, applaud, Rock for seeing it, working it, and letting Hogan work.
And I would sum that up as not my favorite match or moment, but my favorite situation at WrestleMania, I guess we can call it. It's difficult to say favorite match or moment because there are just so many. And for those of you who had the privilege of WWE 24/7, March is a WrestleMania month. Look at some of the stuff back there and tell me if you can figure out your best.
By the way, this is a coded message to all the VPs at Time Warner Cable. What the hell are you thinking by not allowing us to have WWE 24/7 on our cable service?
That is this week's Fan of the Week. His name is Tony Nikolai. Thank you very much for tuning in. Folks, you can be the Fan of the Week by simply sending us an electronic mail message. You can do so by sending that to mail@pwrshow.com. Check out on the website our WWE page, TNA page, WSX page, ECW page. Look for updates after the weekly television shows and pay-per-views. You can also send your comments about your thoughts of those shows to us here at the Pro Wrestling Report, and most of that stuff will make the Pro Wrestling Report interactive weekly television show hosted by Frank Costantino.
Should Meathead grow his hair out and get an afro?
Let's go to hits and misses this week, ladies and gentlemen. The best and the worst, in my mind, from professional wrestling television from the week that was. The hits of the week, WWE Raw in general. Another episode of Raw where it was an old school feel. It was almost as good as every week used to be back in the heyday of WWE Raw. This week delivered again. It was intriguing and nonstop action from start to finish, and standout performers on that show. We'll talk a little bit about those in a moment. That is a hit, in my opinion, this week. The ECW cage spot where Bobby Lashley, is that his real name? Bobby Lashley?
Apparently.
Jumped into the steel cage, the 5-minute steel cage match, and the ring collapsed, if you will. The cage collapsed and fell down on Umaga, and Joey Styles and Taz were so shocked they were silent. Blah, blah,
Why
blah.
were they shocked? Because I saw it falling before he hit it. But that's just me.
Well, you had your technical team do some stop.
I saw it.
But you had a Zapruder
I
version
saw
of it.
No, I saw it in live and said, "Wait a minute." He had to.
Well, see, that's what
he had to
happened.
jump faster
What had
to
happened
catch
was,
the cage.
No, what had happened was Lashley saw the cage falling a little, much like you did on your television screen there, and then bing, had an idea, went to the other side, leapt into the cage, down onto Umaga. He goes, "Umaga's down! Umaga's down! Oh my God! Umaga's down!"
That was a planned spot and poorly executed by the engineering team.
The Johnny Nitro mean streak. Telling Melina to shut her mouth, and then coming
What
down
are you saying?
And just beating up his opponent on Raw. A mean streak from Johnny Nitro, not the comic book dude he's been. I would have never thought it, but I can buy that.
I can buy it for now. I don't know how long I can buy it.
Does this get him into the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania, or does it get him into a higher profile match at WrestleMania?
I think he's been profile enough. I think he needs to keep doing what he's doing. When has he not been profile?
Well, he's not in a WrestleMania match yet.
What I'm saying is, when has he not been a profile guy over the last 2 years?
That's a good point.
Since Eminem debuted.
Maybe you can, if he drops this Eminem thing, maybe you can come out to that music he came out to before.
The
misses this week, ladies and gentlemen, there is but one, and it is Shelton Benjamin not making it into the Money in the
No,
Bank
the miss
ladder
is
match.
him missing the top rope. That's
He
what the miss was.
slipped on. There must have been some
He did.
perspiration or something. The ref didn't do his job, clean off the top rope.
It was his toe.
And he slipped. He fell.
It was his toe.
He fell.
He missed it.
He fell.
That's okay.
What had happened was Jeff Hardy pulled a knife, which you didn't see, just out of camera range, and tried to cut Shelton. Shelton got scared, fell, and then it was all over.
I'm okay with it. He'll come back and he'll do even better.
Shelton Benjamin not in the Money in the Bank match. Shelton Benjamin has been in the prior two and has been a standout superstar in each of those with his athletic abilities, and which we saw
Crazy
a little bit more
spots.
again on Raw this past Monday, just leaping up onto the top rope. Shelton, an amazing athlete. Some say not driven enough to be in the top spot that many of you fans at home feel he needs to be in, but Shelton Benjamin not in the Money in the Bank match.
Shelton Benjamin not coming out to his original music anymore either. He comes out to the theme for World's Greatest Tag Team now.
Wow, that's a great theme.
What happened?
Must
Ain't
you
no
nitpick?
stopping me now.
I think they stopped that.
Yeah.
Let's go to our top fives, ladies and
We
gentlemen.
have to? I'm just... Go ahead, Meathead.
This week's top five list starts with the man they call Meathead, the one who is on my right, and
The original Meathead.
Giuliani
Meathead
or
classic.
McCain.
Meathead Classic.
Giuliani or McClain?
Neither.
Oh, go ahead.
Meathead
And
Classic.
go.
It is top five. Number 5 on my top 5 list is going to go out to ECW talent, actually SmackDown talent. No, I'm not doing it like I did last week.
All hail!
Number 5 is going to go out to the tag team of the Boogeyman and Little Boogeyman. Number 5 on my top 5 list, Boogeyman and Mini Boogeyman. Number 4 on my
I shall call him
Mini
Boogeyman.
Yeah. Number 4 on my top 5 list actually is going to go out to The Undertaker.
Huh.
The Undertaker. Number 3 on my top 5 list is going to go to, I'm thinking Arby's, and I love seeing that young lady. Arby's roast beef. Mickey James, number 3 on my top 5 list. Number 2 on my top 5 list is going to go out to the current NWA heavyweight champion. His name is Christian Cage. And number 1 is a man that made it into Money in the Bank. His name, Mr. Kennedy!
How about that match between
Kennedy!
How about that match between Melina and Maria on Monday this past week?
Maria's working hard.
Surprisingly good. I mean, I really actually turned away from the match as soon as it started. I'm like, this is just going to be, I went bowling for a little while because I thought the match was going to be bowling shoe ugly. But it was actually a very good match.
Number 1, Mr. Kennedy on my top 5.
The definitive top 5 list,
the
ladies
fake
and
Meathead.
gentlemen, the one that all of you clamored to this show to see this week. Number 5 is the man who made it into the Money in the Bank ladder match for the first time ever. His name is Jeff Hardy, former Intercontinental Champion. Number 4 is the man with one of the, if not the, single greatest finishing maneuver in the history of professional wrestling, Petey Williams with the Canadian Destroyer coming in at number 4. Number 3 is because I like the Main Street and think there's some potential with it, not the Main Street Posse.
Joe Gas, Pete Abs, and who else?
Somebody. Johnny Nitro comes in at number 3.
Ding!
At number 2, ladies and gentlemen, on my top 5 list is Melina. Women's champion, can bring it in the ring all of a sudden. And, wow.
Number 1.
Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, the definitive top 5 list. Number 1 is the man who is still putting asses on the seats and eyes on the screen. He is the chairman. He is the president. He is the owner of World Wrestling Entertainment, Mr. McMahon. Why the sour face, pussycat?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for. I'll be in Vegas this weekend, actually, which leads us into the next thing.
Unusual.
We will. There will be no Pro Wrestling Report next week. Make sure you check out the archives, check out their interviews. A couple of matches new available from PWR.
There'll still be something for you to do on the site.
Tito Santana.
Arriba!
In the interview section in the feature match section right now. Also, make sure you check out our new section of the website, the greatest videos, WWE, TNA, ECW, and WCW. Some of the best moments from those organizations caught on tape, caught on film, and now on PWRshow.com. So make sure you hop on over and check that stuff out as well.
Wish I could get on the internet.
Well, when you go to certain sites, they download certain things to your computer that don't like to interact well with the
my crappy Dell hard drive that was
Vista?
installed in my tower
computer
crapped out on me. 2.5 years, the hard drive shot out.
Excuse me, interns, could you guys grab a tissue? Anyone? Tissue. That's this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.